Hey, 8th graders, welcome to today's Explainer. I am so pumped you're here. We are going to dive right in because today we are tackling a massive, incredibly relevant topic. What does sincere, genuine Christian living actually look like? We aren't just talking about showing up on Sundays or knowing the right answers to a test. We are talking about authentic living. What does it look like when your faith actually walks down the hallway at school, sits in the cafeteria, or hangs out with friends on a Friday night? That is exactly what we're exploring today. Here is our roadmap for the lesson. We're going to cover the genuine Christian life, love without hypocrisy, actions over words, your faith in action, and finally, wisdom and godly learning. So we're moving from the condition of our hearts straight out to our hands and actions, and then right up to our minds. Let's go. Kicking things off with Section 1, the genuine Christian life, straight out of Romans 12. Romans 12, it's kind of like the ultimate playbook for how a believer is actually supposed to live out their faith in the real world. Our foundational memory verse today is Romans 12:9. It says, "Let love be without hypocrisy. Abhor what is evil, cling to what is good." I really want you to let those words sink in for a second. This is the anchor for our entire lesson. The Apostle Paul, he isn't just tossing out suggestions here. He is giving us the non-negotiable marks of a true Christian. Everything we do starts with love, but not just any love, a very specific kind. Which brings us to Section 2, love without hypocrisy, or as I like to call it, keeping it real. Look, we live in a world completely obsessed with filters, edits, and carefully crafted social media profiles, right? So being genuinely real is totally countercultural, and our biggest obstacle to that is hypocrisy. What does it actually mean? Well, it means claiming to have moral standards or beliefs, but your own behavior just doesn't match up. It means being fake or putting on a show. Think about it like a knockoff designer brand. You might have a pair of shoes that look perfectly legit from a distance. They've got the logo, the colors, the whole shebang. But the second you hit the track and actually start running, the sole literally falls off because the quality just isn't there. It was all for show. Or think about how easy it is to act completely differently depending on which friend group is around. Like if you speak with total kindness and patience around your family, but then turn around and gossip or tear people down with your friends, yeah, that's hypocrisy. True Christian love has to be the real deal. No masks, no putting on a show. How we handle the stuff around us is absolutely crucial. Paul tells us two specific actions here: abhor what is evil and cling to what is good. Now, abhor, that is a massive, strong word. It means to genuinely hate or be totally disgusted by what is evil. You have to actively push it out of your life. But here's the catch. It's not enough to just push the bad stuff away. You got to replace it. We're told to cling to what is good. Picture yourself hanging onto a rope over a cliff. That is exactly how tightly you are supposed to hold on to goodness, truth, and righteous choices. You kick the evil away, and you grab onto the good like your life depends on it. Moving on to Section 3, actions over words, the actual evidence of faith. Because true love and genuine faith, they aren't just invisible feelings floating around in your head. They demand outward, visible action. If your faith is real, there's gonna be proof. Here are some incredibly practical ways faith is actually alive. Straight out of Romans 12, verses 10 through 13. Love with brotherly affection. That literally means treating each other like family. Honor others, giving actual respect to your classmates, your teachers, your parents. Serve with diligence, putting in the hard work without whining about it. Then there's rejoice in hope and be patient in tribulation. Think about it. How do you react when you bomb a test or just have a super tough week? Do you totally fall apart? Or do you stay patient and keep your hope anchored in God? We also need to pray steadfastly, which means you don't just hit God up when you want a favor. It's a constant, everyday conversation. And finally, help the saints, stepping up when you see someone in need. Guys, these aren't just nice little ideas. These are the tangible, everyday actions that please the Father and actually bless the people around you. And it is so important for us to remember this. The born-again experience, it's a new beginning. It is literally the starting line of your faith journey. But true faith continues. It doesn't just cross the starting line and pat itself on the back. It runs the race. It keeps going in love, in obedience to God's word, in serving others, and in chasing holiness. Being a Christian is not a one-and-done event. It is a lifelong pursuit to look a little bit more like Jesus every single day. All right, Section 4, your faith in action. Time to connect the heart and the hands. It's time to take these concepts and put them into immediate practice. I actually want you to do this with me right now. Grab a piece of paper and a pen. I'll wait a second. Okay, got it? Step 1, Draw a massive heart right in the middle of your page and label it Genuine Love. Step 2. Draw some branches coming out from that heart, kind of like a tree. Step 3. Label those branches based on what we just talked about: prayer, service, patience, goodness. Now, if drawing isn't really your thing, no worries. Alternatively, just write down one clear sentence about a specific mark of a true Christian that you want to grow in this week. Like, maybe you really need to work on patience with your sibling, or maybe you want to focus on praying steadfastly. Whatever it is, visualize how that genuine love at the core of your heart actually branches out into what you do every day. While you're finishing up your drawing or your sentence, I want to challenge you with a direct reflection question. Really think about this. How do prayer, patience, service, and love actually show that your faith is alive? Seriously, think about it. If someone followed you around all week with a camera, would they see the evidence of a living faith in how you treat your friends, or how you handle stress, or how you serve others when absolutely no one is watching? Your actions are the heartbeat of your faith. And that brings us to our final stop, Section 5, Wisdom and Godly Learning. Let's talk about the HeroesMart philosophy. So this is where we tie everything together. Why are you even sitting here learning in the first place? This forms the absolute core of the HeroesMart Academy Godly Learners philosophy. Listen closely. Education without biblical morality can actually hurt. What does that mean? It means that just getting smarter simply isn't enough. If you get this incredible education, you become an absolute genius at math, science, history, but you completely lack a Christ-like moral foundation, you can actually end up using your intelligence for all the wrong things. True knowledge shouldn't just make you a more capable person. It absolutely must lead you to make wise, God-honoring choices. We intertwine biblical morality with your education here because we want you to be brilliantly equipped, yes, but also deeply grounded in genuine Christian love. The Apostle Paul actually backs this up perfectly in Romans 8, verses 6 and 7. He writes, "For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace." Now, a carnal mind is one that's totally obsessed with worldly stuff. Just being smart so you can be successful, make a ton of money, or be super popular. And honestly, that ultimately leads to spiritual emptiness. But a mind that is centered on God, a spiritually minded person, that is what brings true life and genuine peace. And that is exactly the kind of learner we want you to be. So I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought to chew on. Will you use your education simply to become more capable, just pass the test and move on? Or will you let God's wisdom guide your mind toward righteous choices this week? Are you going to pursue academic excellence while keeping your mind totally centered on God, on truth, and on that genuine love without hypocrisy? That choice is entirely up to you, 8th graders. Make it an amazing week, cling to what is good, and let your faith be vibrantly, unstoppably alive in everything you do. Catch you next time.